Let's get started with After Effects. Now, if you're not familiar with After Effects at all, but you may be familiar with a little bit of Premiere, After Effects is a lot like animating within the Effects Controls panel of Adobe Premiere. If you're not familiar with Premiere, well, you're about to become a master of that as well. So After Effects is based on keyframe animation. You set an attribute to a certain point of time. Maybe it's scale, position, rotation. And then you move down in your timeline and make a change to that attribute. Maybe you scale it up or you rotate the image. By doing that, it creates another keyframe. All of the frames in between your start and stop point are called tweens. And the computer actually creates those tweens for you. Back in traditional animation, you would have your main animator would animate the key points in movement. Maybe it was the prep for a jump, the middle point of a jump, and then the landing. Then there were other tween animators that would go through and animate all of the frames in between those A, B, and C parts of that jump, if that makes sense. Those were called tweeners. The same thing happens in keyframe animation here in After Effects, except that we have a computer that's doing all of that math for us and all of that drawing for us. So with that, let's jump into After Effects, take a look at the workspace, learn where everything is, see where the tools are, where we can find some certain things that we're going to need to get started, and then create our first project. Let's go. Okay, so I've opened up After Effects, and the first thing I'm going to do is File, New Project. New Project. Okay, nothing's changed. And what I can do, I need to create a sequence. Now in our project panel, we've got our project panel here on the left, our composition on the right, effects controls, just like in Premiere. Effects controls is right here in the middle for now. I am in the default workspace. Okay, and then eventually our timeline will be down here in the bottom. Now, just like Premiere, you have different workspaces you can work with. You can go to Window, choose your workspace. You got all panels, animation, color, effects, essential graphics, libraries, minimal, motion tracking, all of these sorts of things. So different options you can choose from. And then, of course, you can create your own custom workspaces simply by saving changes to this workspace or save as a new workspace or even edit the workspace. Okay, so you have different options as to where things are, just like in Photoshop or Premiere. You can select a layer, or select a panel, rip it off, and move it around. You can put it back. If I don't want essential graphics, I can click this little hamburger and close it for now, and that hides it. And I can always pull that back up later by simply going to Window, down to Essential Graphics, and bring it back. So there's our workspaces. In our project panel, this is where you organize your project, all of your assets. So I'm going to create a bin. I might call this one Assets, where I'm going to put my images. I'm about to import an image for my logo. You'll find that in here. I might create a new composition, or a new folder, just by right-clicking. And I might call this one Music, in case I'm adding audio, or music, or sound effects. A new folder again. Let's say Sequences. So there you go. You can create different bins or different folders to organize your project so you can easily access all of the assets you need to create your content. And just like that, we're ready to create our first composition in our first project. In the next video, we're going to create a composition, import our image, and get started with animating position, scale, and rotation. I'll see you there.